coming up a few weeks later.
They requested
They requested I had some type of hair on my face.
Oh, they want you to look more masculine?
Well, it's kind of going back. It's like a historical shoot. So they want, back in the past, people
Sure.
always
You want
had
to
their...
look older. Older, less young.
I don't know. When I look in the mirror, I start to see my father. It's kind of a weird...
Really?
Yeah, my dad always had facial hair.
Oh, really?
So it's really weird to look in the mirror now.
Oh, my gosh. Because I have to say, Cameron, you do have a youthful look. You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Because there are some other Americans that don't so much. But I have to say, though, that you do look younger for your age.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Which
very
is
much.
something that we don't... Asians... We usually hear this a lot. Yeah, but I have to say that about you. Now you look your age.
Okay, now I look 35. All right,
that's right.
Good deal.
Okay, so we are this month talking about something that we all probably are doing. We are tightening our belts because the economy is just, not so great, right? So I thought that we would introduce some English expressions that you might, relate to, that you might connect to. So, tightening our belts, we need to get a handle on our spending. So, tighten our belts is very similar to the Korean expression.
Yeah.
Right?
허리띠를 졸라매기.
Yes, that's right. And then if you need to get a handle on something, what does this mean?
So to get a handle on means to control. Sometimes it means to be able to do something, to learn to do something.
Right.
But here we're talking about controlling or reducing something.
Okay. So, and how about this expression? The big picture.
The big picture means you're not looking at the details, you're looking at the overall situation or the main goal, the final goal.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and listen to our dialogue about tightening our belts.
Gigi, I just got an alert from the bank that we spent more money than we had in our account.
How did that happen? We both make decent salaries, and our expenses seem pretty normal.
Obviously, there is a problem somewhere. We need to get a handle on our spending.
I'll print out our last 6 bank and credit card statements so we can see the big picture better.
Then we can separate our wants from our needs.
Right. And we'll know how much we must tighten our belts.
Please join us on page 20. You can find our power dialogue there. Okay. Kieran begins by saying, Gigi, I just got an alert from the bank that we spent more money than we had in our account. Sometimes this does happen. Like I feel in Korea, if you don't have that money, then it's not coming out. But you can have an overdraft.
Yes.
Yeah, so what does that mean?
So an overdraft, let's say you have $10 in your banking account.
Yeah.
And you buy something worth $15.
Right.
The bank will go ahead and pay for the item for you.
Yeah.
But then you're probably going to get hit with a fee.
That's right.
That's an overdraft.
Yeah. Of course, it's not going to be hundreds of dollars. But, for a couple of dollars, it's okay. They'll pay for it. But then they will ask you for a fee.
Yeah, there is a limit. They won't do like $1,000 over.
Yeah.
But if it is like in a $20, $50 range, maybe they'll pay it. But then the fee will be way more than that.
Okay, so basically in this dialogue, they spent a little bit more.
Yes.
And Gigi says, how did that happen? We both make decent salaries and our expenses seem pretty normal. So Gigi's like, huh? How did it happen? This is our power pattern.
How did that happen is a very surprised way of saying, that doesn't make sense.
What happened?
Yeah. I cannot understand why that would happen. I have what I think is a good understanding of the situation. So if something bad happened, what did I miss?
Yeah.
What am I not understanding?
Yeah, say for example, you thought you were going to get a job, and everybody thought so, and then I didn't get the job. Huh? How did that happen? I thought you were in.
You're like the perfect candidate.
Right. They said they really liked you.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does Karen say?
Obviously, there's a problem somewhere. We need to get a handle on our spending.
Okay. So in this context, get a handle on your spending is another way of saying kind of to manage your spending.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it seems like Gigi and Kieran were very freely spending.
Yeah.
Not thinking a lot about their purchases. So to get a handle on means to understand where all your money is going and if necessary, limit or reduce the amount that you are spending.
Right. Imagine a situation if you don't have a handle on something, it's running wild.
Yeah.
You know? It's like anything can happen. It's out of control.
Right. You don't know where it's going.
Yeah, that's right. And so this idea of getting a handle, it's like you're kind of pulling it together, getting in control of something.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So get a handle on your spending. And Gigi says, I'll print out our last 6 bank and credit card statements so we can see the big picture better. And I think we're all guilty of sometimes just kind of spending, thinking like, oh, we'll be okay. And then later, like, oops.
Yeah.
Okay. What are these bank and credit card statements? What is a statement?
So you don't get these so much anymore. Maybe with a credit card, but not so much just a regular bank statement, I feel. A statement here is a list of all of your purchases, and it's usually in the month. So every month, your bank will send you the list of every single purchase you made.
Yeah.
Every bit of money that went in your account and went out of your account. But I don't see this as much anymore because we all do online banking.
Yeah.
So these used to be in the U.S., we had checkbooks.
Oh, yeah.
And so when the bank statement came in,
Yeah.
I remember my mom
Yeah.
checking one by one. Okay.
Right.
Do I have everything recorded?
Yeah.
I think people still do get credit card statements in the mail.
They do.
Right? I've never had a credit card, so I don't know.
Ah, really? Yeah. I think a lot of people now these days, they basically bypass the mail statements and they just kind of sign up online and they can check out their statements. But it is available. It's like the Korean daeok. You know,
Yeah.
you can go and see what we do it all the time, anytime. Whereas in America, it does, have a statement every month.
Yeah.
But it's usually online these days.
Yeah, now everything's online. Why deal with the paper?
Now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this big picture?
So oftentimes when we're spending money, we only look at one purchase at a time, right? At most, maybe a month's worth of purchases. But if you're looking at the big picture, maybe you're stepping back and looking at your entire year. Okay, this is what we've bought throughout the year. This is how much our bank account is growing or shrinking. Because you want to try and get a concept in your mind, an understanding of the trend of everything going on.
Right.
So it's the bigger picture of your spending, not just 1 week's worth of spending or 1 month's worth of spending.
Right. And so oftentimes when you're in a situation, you tend to get very nearsighted. Like just looking at that one thing. And so you'll have people say, you need to step back and look at the big picture.
Yes.
Like, is this really that important? Is this really that stressful? In the big, grand scheme of things.
Yeah. And I think it depends on people's personalities. Some people really get stuck in the details.
Yes.
And they worry about the smallest things.
Yes.
When you really think about it, it's not a big deal.
Right. In the big picture, it's really a small detail. Okay. Karen says, then we can separate our wants from our needs. Okay. They're going to make a list. What do we want? What do we need? And, Gigi?
Right. And we'll know how much we must tighten our belts.
Okay. So, to tighten your belt?
We're talking about not spending as much, not using as much, or not eating as much even.
Yeah.
So that you can save and use the limited resources you have well.
Yes, be careful with your money.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
Gigi, I just got an alert from the bank that we spent more money than we had in our account.
How did that happen? We both make decent salaries, and our expenses seem pretty normal.
Obviously, there is a problem somewhere. We need to get a handle on our spending.
I'll print out our last 6 bank and credit card statements so we can see the big picture better.
Then we can separate our wants from our needs.
Right. And we'll know how much we must tighten our belts.
It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 22 and 23. Let's see some example sentences of the expressions that we just talked about. If you get a handle on something, it means to gain control, to understand, to manage a situation. How is your son doing at his new job?
It took a while, but Jake got a handle on his responsibilities there.
Okay.
So he understands what he needs to do now.
Yeah. Before it was like, do I do it this way? There's a lot of this kind of questioning and I'm not sure. Now he's got a handle. He knows what to do. After some practice, she finally got a handle on using the new software.
This again is about understanding, right?
Yeah.
When you start using a new program, a new app, I said, where's the start button?
Yeah.
How do I change the settings? Oh, I don't know what to do. But after a while, you play with it for a while and you learn what to do.
It's so interesting. I had a conversation recently with my son about ChatGPT. So I've been using it. Everybody uses it.
Oh, yeah.
However, it's just mine is so basic, Cameron. Like, the meaning or like, what is this translated, right?
Yeah.
And my son's like, oh my gosh, Mom, you don't know how to use this. You need to like play around with it. I'm like, how do you play around with it? I don't know.
Yeah, you just try different things.
Yeah, I know.
Just like, oh, what does this button do?
Okay.
Oh no, I erased all my memory. That's not good.
That's not good.
That's how you learn lessons.
That's right. So I'm trying to get a handle on ChatGPT. Okay.
You know, you can also use this when we're talking about control. Say, oh, you need to get a handle on your dog. Or you need to get a handle on your child.
What does that mean?
So let's say you go to a cafe and your dog is running around the cafe.
And barking.
Biting people. Yeah. Maybe your child is doing the same thing, running around the cafe.
Yeah.
You do not have control of them.
That's right.
So you need to rein them in.
Yeah, you need to get a handle.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can also do it for your emotions. Get a handle on your emotions.
Yeah, to control your emotions.
Not get super angry or super sad.
Don't get too emotional.
Or even too happy.
Yeah.
You know, people who just are like overly happy that they are basically going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get a handle on your emotions.
Yeah.
I think this is really true for certain situations. Yeah. Okay. The big picture is the overall, the main idea of a situation, the overall perspective. Like, if you look at it from the sky and down, that's the big picture. I was offered a promotion, but they aren't offering much more money.
When making a career decision, it's important to consider the big picture.
So, in your career, it's important to consider the big picture. You're saying that, maybe they're not offering you more money, but if you look at the long run, it may be better to accept the promotion. Is that what the person is saying?
Yeah, so this one's a little difficult because if the promotion doesn't give you more money, but it gives you more experience, and maybe will allow you to go further in your career, it's a good thing.
Right.
But it could be saying on the other side, hey, this is just a promotion. You're not getting any money from it. They're just basically giving you a new title. If you look at the big picture, this isn't a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes,
so it can go both ways.
Right. Sometimes, let's be honest, the promotion, you just end up working more, have more responsibilities, more stress, and you don't get a lot more money.
Well, I tell you, I have a close friend, and she got a promotion, but didn't get a raise in her salary. I was like, well, what's the point of a promotion?
What's the point?
Why are you getting promoted and you're getting just more work?
And you have to work on the weekends. And,
yeah. That's a little unfair. Okay. Instead of focusing on small details, try to see the big picture. Right. So we talked about, a situation where you're just so overly focused on the detail. You don't get to see like the bigger picture.
Yeah. It's true. This can happen in relationships sometimes. You know, whenever you're dating someone or you're married to someone, there is one small thing that annoys you so much.
Right. It's the thing that made you fall in love with that person.
Often.
Yeah.
But it'll often be a small thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to step back, look at the big picture, and say, I know this one small thing is very annoying, but overall,
he's a great husband.
I love this person.
Yeah, that's right.
I have to remember the big picture.
Everyone, we understand. We must all look at the big picture.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Tighten your belt means to reduce spending. Be careful with your money. With rising costs, many families are tightening their belts.
Yeah, but I never thought it would happen to us. We were doing so well.
What, Cameron, is there a way, like, if you need to tighten your belt, what's like the first thing that goes?
For me, it's food.
Food, yeah. I think that's true for everybody.
I can go so I grew up pretty poor.
Okay.
In a poor part of America.
Yeah.
I know how to eat like a poor person. I know how to keep my...
I don't know if I should laugh or cry.
No, it's fine. Like, it's fine.
Okay.
But, yeah, I know how to eat rice and beans.
Yeah, simple things.
Every day for months at a time.
Yeah.
So that's usually the first thing. That and clothes. I will not buy clothes.
Well, I think that is true for most people. That's right. Even for me, too. I cook at home no matter what. Because in the end, that saves you money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like, don't get extravagant. Just simple cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's a time when I need to move, I've moved into like smaller apartments.
Oh.
To like save money.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. After losing his job, John had to tighten his belt and cut unnecessary expenses.
Yeah.
All right. How did that happen? Like, I don't understand. What happened? Okay. How did that happen? I locked all the doors before I left.
How did the squirrel get into my house?
Yes.
How did that happen? I followed the recipe perfectly.
It turned out to be a disaster.
My cookies exploded.
Yeah. All right. Power statement or power vocab is statement on page 24. Do check that out. And make sure you stop by
Audio Hakdang.
and join us at 6 p.m. on Evening Special tonight. We'll see you there. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.